Doop. Congratulations, guys. That was a 3-minute matter of honor, and I'm going to put that up on YouTube as a 3-minute long video.
Are you really?
Awesome.
Why not?
Hey,
Consistency.
so we're counting up today. We're going from 5 to 1.
From 5 to 1. We'll start at number 5. Starting at number 5, we have Underdog captains. Now, what does this mean to everyone? Well, I don't know. What does it mean to everybody? Tucker, what does Underdog mean to you?
So, what Underdog means to me is a captain that I would expect to see used more given its utility. So what I'm going to be looking at is captains I just don't see in a lot of lists anymore. And this is obviously going to be subjective. The top choice on mine is one that a lot of people used to see back in the day, and probably a lot of people still do see, but I think should be seen even more than that. But really, what I'm trying to go for here is when you're not reaching for Picard or Terrace or Martok 9 or Tactical Drone from 4270, what are you going to be reaching for?
Interesting. David?
For me, it's captains that strike me as unusual. Captains that serve a purpose that you don't necessarily expect. Captains that aren't always powerful, kind of like the role-playing captains. For me, they're the captains they're like support. They're the I don't know. For me, these are the guys that they're not the ones that I'm necessarily sad to lose, but they're the ones that I'm trying to sneak by my opponents. So they're the ones I want to do something cool with.
Indeed.
I guess that's the way I'm going about this list.
Yeah, for me again, it's going to be underdogs or people are the ones that you look at and it's like, well, that's a cool ability. Generally, not the ones that are straightforward in what they do well. It's more about the combinations. It's not going to be we did top 5 best captains last week. It's not going to be. This is not going to be for me 6 through 10 on the list. This is going to be a little bit deeper into the best captains list, but they do a unique thing that is really cool and can be unexpected, etc., etc. So number 5. Let's see, as I just go ahead and order my list. Let's start with David for this one.
Okay. Gullavec from Dominion. He re-rolls all blanks when defending. Now, there's a caveat here. Not on a Dominion ship. He goes on Romulans,
anything
or
that
Dominion,
cloaks,
or anything with a cloaking device. Because that's where he's actually good. Preferably on anything with a cloaking device, because then you can take battle stations and actually survive for a while.
That's one thing I learned about using a Vec is even though he rerolls all your blanks, he still gets more blanks in battle stations than anything else.
Yeah. Right, because evades are only on 3 sides of your dice.
Yeah.
But the reality is that, yeah, he's not amazing. But if you can combo him well, and if you can, maybe that means you're throwing him with Sulu or Paris or something else. He's actually a nice captain if you want to set up that defensive Federation ship. He could be a captain to combo with.
Evading Voyager.
Yeah. He's not the first guy you reach for, but he's an option.
He's a cool guy. He did not actually appear on my list, surprisingly enough to both me and probably everyone.
Yeah, well, you know, this is a list I expect almost no crossover on.
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact that I cross over with Will at one point. But
I am going to be very surprised if you actually put him on this list. Oh, no, you're talking about the other one. All right. Tucker, you're number 5 then.
So first I have an honorable mention,
Okay.
Which is not going to be a surprise to anybody earlier based on some of my things. This is a last-minute change. This was the 12-way tie I was mentioning. It's not actually 12. It's like 6. My honorable mention is 1-point captains, just in general. I don't see a lot of them, and I think I should see more of them, and I'll tell you why. These days, there are a lot of naked ships out there, a lot of naked spheres, a lot of ships with captain skills of 1. Mm-hmm. And 1 point will put you firing before them.
And firing before them is very nice.
Besides, some of their abilities are kind of neat, too.
Yeah.
Oh, God, there's a Kazon, too, isn't there? I don't remember his name.
Yeah, there is.
Kazon
he lets
dude.
you roll blank defense die every time you defend.
He's Kazon dude.
Yeah, Reddick or something.
He's not worth knowing his name.
Okay, so my actual number 5 is a captain. I could not go an entire list without adding one thing from this faction. So this is a guy that I feel is very underrated, and I had to play with him, and I was not happy to play with him, and then I tried him, and he's actually super awesome, and that is Tactical Drone 255. The tactical drone from the Blind Booster.
The power drone.
The power token one, right. The ability to just say, I'm going to spend a drone token and just get rid of this auxiliary power token when I move is actually really good.
Mm-hmm. Maybe not quite as good on the scout cube he comes with, but on bigger ships, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even on non-Borg ships.
Like we are just talking about the Romulan helmsman turning red maneuvers white. I mean, that's pretty strong in and of itself. It lets your Keldons turn. It lets your battleships turn. It lets you come about and take actions, which is great for Klingons.
So if you're, and I mean the thing is, if you're running an officer exchange program with the Borg, which looks like it might be a thing, this guy's going to cost you 1 point for 2 skill, and you can trade in some of that skill to do red maneuvers whenever you want. I like it.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Let's see. My number 5. I'm going to go with Magnus Hansen.
Ah, yes. The talent carrier.
He is a brilliant talent character. However, besides that even, I was a fan of the, the officer cards build when they came out, before they got nerfed by the you can only use one part of an upgrade per turn. This allows you to take one scan token and use it in 4 different ways in a turn. So Magnus Hansen with the Science Officer lets you get -2 defense dice for using a scan token. You can still spend that scan token for an evade, and if you have a ship ability like Scout Cube 608, is that the blind one? No, it's 255. That gives you an extra defense die every time when you have a scan token. These are not upgrades. So these are ways that you can still use multiple uses out of a single scan token. And Magnus Hansen is like the only captain that does that. Also, he's really cheap at 2 points, and he can hold an elite talent. So he does cool things all around.
What's his skill? Is he 3 or 4?
He's a 3.
3. Yeah.
Which is the only problem is because you generally want to keep your scan token until you attack, but often you'll have to spend it as an evade before that happens.
Well, just boost his captain skill.
Oh yeah.
Give him some Romulan security officers.
He could get some bonuses from them, or some with the easiest way to get things up in captain skill now with admirals and fleet captains. There's definitely possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Number 4. Let's start with Tucker for this one.
Okay, so this is a guy. I forgot this guy existed.
Ooh.
And then what I did in preparation for doing this was I just did one quick pass through every single captain in the game saying, is there anything sort of neat or cool or underrated that I would like to see more of?
That's how
and I found this guy. And I had, like, before the show, I had to keep looking him up to remember what he did. So my number 4, and this starts a section of, there among the 5 captains in my list, there are only 3 factions. So we've done one of the only Borg, so the other 2 you'll see. This starts our Dominion contingent with Kevin.
Son of a...
You put him on yours too, didn't you?
He is exactly in number 4 on my list as well.
Okay, so let me just talk about why I like him. This guy, drawing fire is super useful. The fact that this guy is a 4 skill does not really super matter because of his action. I'm just going to tell everybody what Kevin does because nobody remembers, I promise.
I'm having to look it up.
Yeah, he comes in the 2nd Division Cruiser, and he says, 4 skill, 2 points, no elite talent because he's Dominion. And he says, action, target 1 enemy ship at range 1 to 2 in your forward firing arc. Your ship cannot attack any other ship this round and must attack that ship if possible. During the combat phase, if your ship attacks with its primary weapon, it resolves its attack immediately before the target ship, as if it had a higher captain skill than that ship. If the target ship attacks your ship this round, it gains +4 attack dice. So what this says is, I pick a guy, I'm going to attack him, but I'm going to attack him before he attacks me, and if he shoots me back, he gets a massive bonus. The ability to jump captain skill is nice, but it's not what I care about. What I care about here is the ability to draw fire, which is not something you see terribly often in this game.
You've got Dr. Bashir from Mirror Universe, and that's about it.
Exactly.
Cracks on too, I guess counts.
Yeah, a little bit. But it's just, this guy is... I don't know. I just want to see more of him because he has untapped potential. I just feel it.
Do you have a 15 skill captain that's shooting before you? Well, take a shot at him first, and oh look, is he going to shoot at Kevin's ship? Maybe not. So that means his ability didn't have any drawback at all. Or if he does, well, you've probably put Kevin on a ship you don't care about dying anyway.
Or something like the Azimur, which gets bonuses if it's attacked. I mean, if you manage somehow to get 2 actions with this and counterattack, you get to shoot twice.
Plus,
if you blow them up, you attacked before they did, and they don't get to attack.
Indeed. Put them on something that does massive damage, or put them on something you don't mind losing.
And also, here's another fun thing. Target an enemy ship at range 1 and 2 in your forward firing arc. You don't have to be in their arc. They don't even have to be able to attack you.
Right.
Sneaky little dirtbag. Yes, for all those reasons, those exact same reasons, Kevin is also on my list at number 4.
Of course, doing that action at skill 4 always kind of sucked for me.
It's a little hard because maybe the guy moves out of your firing range, or depends on where he ends up going.
He's Dominion. Put him on a 180 arc.
Yeah. Put him on a Borg thing.
Forward firing arc.
Alright, never mind.
Yeah.
Put him on a 180 arc.
Well, hey, have Martok.
Yeah.
Martok 8.
That'll work.
There's ways. And of course, as always, there's ways to boost skills now.
Yep.
Kevin as a 7 skill with 3 Romulan officers could help.
I don't know that I want to invest the points, but yeah. It's certainly usable.
Yeah.
As we will probably be saying about every captain on this list.
So David, what's your number 4?
Well, my number 4 is a similar. Well, it's Dominion faction. My number 4 is Galnon.
Who else has Galnon?
Me.
What number?
2.
Guess what else has Gelnon?
You.
Yep.
What
Guess
number?
where?
2.
Number 1.
Ah.
You were expecting something else, weren't you? Nope. We all know the glory of Gelnon, but David, lead us off with it.
Yeah, so Gelnon is just one of those glorious captains.
What does he do?
He is action, target an enemy ship in your forward firing arc within range 1, and immediately roll 2 attack dice. The target ship doesn't roll any defense dice against this attack, and sustains damage as normal for each hit or crit. If you roll at least 1 battle station results, place a battle station token beside your ship. Important to note that Bohica works with that, so if you roll a battle station and a hit, you would place a battle station and a blank, you'd place a token and then convert the blank to a hit.
Mm-hmm.
So, Gelnon does damage. He doesn't lose cloak or flip cloak. So
He's
a lot of
firing.
Yeah, a lot of people run Gelnon on like a Vo or an Apnex and just keep your ship cloaked. Never actually make an attack and just ping.
He's a little walking minefield.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays you could actually run him on a Klingon ship or a Romulan ship and do that as your action, and maybe you actually have a battle station for your main attack.
Or your cloaked defense.
Or your cloaked defense, yeah, either way. I mean, he's a way of maybe getting battle stations as an action. It is important to note it says forward firing arc, so he doesn't work on Borg. But he's a solid captain. And he was one, as soon as we said we were doing Underdog captains, I knew he had to be on my list. I just didn't know where exactly he was going to fall.
Indeed.
Now, can I talk about something David didn't mention?
Be my guest. Please do.
Fighters. This guy says, as an action, you have a 75% chance of taking out the top token of a Hideki, and I think a 50-50 of taking out the top token of a Fed fighter.
25%.
Sorry?
25%.
Because you have to roll 2 hits.
You're right,
hits,
I'm sorry.
2 hits on 2 dice is 25%.
Yeah, and I mean, on a guy... Now, people stay away from him because he requires rolling. If my math is correct, you have a 0.0625% chance of nothing happening. Is that correct?
Double blank?
1/16th?
1 and 4 and 1 and 4.
So, in other words, for all you RPG gamers out there, that is a slight tick above the chance of rolling a natural 20.
I was going to say natural 1, but hey.
Yeah, either way. But the point is, the vast majority of the time, something's going to happen, and a lot of times, it's enough to take out a Hideki. And if you're really lucky, you'll take out a Hideki and get battle stations for the turn. As an action that they can't defend against. This is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And if I remember correctly, this is the guy played by Iggy Pop.
Continuing the add-on of the Gelnon gloriousness, it should also be noted that any attack modifiers that don't spend tokens still work on him. Like we were talking about Bohica just beforehand, but other wonderful things that work with him: the Khazara, the Reliant. He is an attack, but he is not firing. You can get additional attack dice for his roll if you're using ships like these. You can re-roll ship attacks dice with this from like the Adramir. You can all sorts of fun and wonderful things. What does your percentage go up to with 3 dice against Hideki fighters? A lot. 25, 12 and a half. Oh, 1 in 64 that you don't kill one. All kinds of fun stuff. But yes, Gelnon with a reroll is ridiculous. I liked using him with... I used to put him with both Valtane and Bohica, with a flagship, so I get scan every turn. I can use Valtane on the roll of 3 dice because he was on the Reliant. Reroll 2 of those dice. Chances of getting a battle station are immense, and chances of getting 3 hits or a couple hits in a crit also glorious. 3 damage with no defense against it is the reason why Cloaked Mines wrecked things all the time when they were released.
So, I just want to point out, I happen to be incorrect. Yelgrin is the one that Iggy Pop played.
Oh.
Yeah.
Poor Iggy Pop.
They haven't used the Yelgrin card, probably because they can't get the appearance rights.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is
the reason that Cyrano Jones card is just tribbles.
Wait, what? Cyrano Jones? Tribbles? Oh, did I mention Tribbles add on to Gelnon as well? 4 dice, no defense. Get some rerolls in there.
Seems good.
Oh, the possibilities of what you can do with this guy. This is why he made my number 1. But my number 1 is gone now. And we're up to number 3. I'll go ahead and start number 3 since my number 1 is gone now. My number 3 is going to be the independent faction captain. Probably not the one of the independent faction captains I was thinking of at first because, well, I feel like Khan gets used enough that he's not really quite an underdog. He might be in that status nowadays, but he's not on my list. The one that takes this place is Calvin Hudson.
Yeah. He was on my short list.
Calvin Hudson, if he is on, he gets you 1 slot of either tech, weapon, or crew, if I recall correctly. I don't think it's talent.
Tech, weapon, or crew, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
If he is on an independent ship, all of your upgrades cost -1. One of the best ways to use this, however, is you can put him on any ship and give it a flagship. Still only viable for the next couple months, but any ship you want with bonus slots, everything costing less, and Calvin Hudson giving you all kinds of cool things. You can make really cool combo ships with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you need to keep it under a 50-point limit. 1, 2, 3 bonus slots. One of them basically wild, and any ship you can bring up your my favorite Reliant. I'll just keep going with that. That's a good way to bring the Reliant up to a 50-point Dreadnought-ish level, or at least as Dreadnought-y as we can get these days. Yes. I like Calvin Hudson. He is my number 3 pick. That is 2 people from the independent faction that I have taken to so far. Any dissenters?
The only reason he doesn't make my list is, frankly, I see him used quite a bit.
Really?
At least in theory builds that people post on the communities and stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean, I don't disagree. Everything you're saying is correct. He just doesn't meet my personal technical
definition.
Definition, yeah.
Because around where I've been playing, I have not seen him be used at all, and I haven't seen him talked about a lot. So I was like, I could see him being pretty good, but not overpowered good, and that would be an easy way to just overlook somebody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Yeah.
He also one of the captains that was on my short list was Chris Pike, pretty much for the same reason.
Point reductions.
Yeah, also because Chris Pike used to be a workhorse. He made a lot of things work, and he's underappreciated.
Honorable mention, Mr. Pike. Picky Pike. I can't spell Pike today. Yeah. David, anything to say on Mr. Hudson?
I said at the start he was on my short list, probably in my top 10, and overall good captain. And
well, then, who got your number 3, good sir?
My number 3 was Mirror Miles.
Yeah.
Smiley.
Smiley.
on my short list, and he was the last guy I cut from my short list.
Yeah. So he gives you a tech slot, and then as an action, you can repair one of your hull or shields.
I regenerate.
Yeah.
But better.
But yeah, he regenerates, but does it better. And just being able to do that for skill 5 and a talent and 3 points, plus giving you a tech slot. I mean, what's not to like?
Tech, the best opportunity cost in the game.
Yeah.
So many fun things you can do with it.
He goes on anything, really. I mean, I will take that cross-faction for 4 points on anything in the game. I'll put that on Feds. I'll put that on Romulans.
Put that on Borg.
I'll put that on Borg. I mean,
anything that can, anything you want to be in and out of combat quickly. You know, take a few hits, get out of combat, heal up, and come back at them again.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I mean, I'm probably most hesitant. Actually, no, I'm least hesitant to put that on Cloakers. Because if you take a little bit of damage, heal it up, and then come out of Cloak so you have shields if necessary, and go right back in.
Yep, get rid of those critical hits that you got unfortunate enough to get hit by.
And it's also one of the main issues that cloaking builds can run into that isn't really discussed a lot is you go in, you get ready to cloak, and then they take all your shields, and suddenly you can't cloak. Well, this guy will give you a shield back, which means you can cloak again.
Right.
You thought you had me? You were wrong.
It's the same reason that Scotty, TOS Scotty, Tiny Prize, was popular, is because you could regen shields. Well, Smiley does it cheaper. And he doesn't cost you attack dice.
Yeah, but he doesn't give you attack dice either.
He doesn't give you attack dice. He doesn't give you the flexibility. But I'm
get someone else to do that. He frees up the slots, the other slots on your ship to get something else that does that. Reconnection. Don't drop on me, guys. We're still here. All right. So, continuing.
What makes thermacare different? 2 words. It heals. How? With heat.
You have the stream open in a window.
I
do. All right. So, I think we're good for Smiley then? Tucker, that leaves your number 3.
Okay, so keeping in mind that Kevin was my number 4, I have a very similar, and this is one that you may disagree with me on the same reason I disagree with you and Calvin Hudson, is Salatro.
Dang. Wait, who?
Salatro.
Oh, Salatriel. The Avatar of Tomed Captain.
Yes. Yeah. I think, so here's the thing. I like perfect information a lot. And I like the ability to move and know exactly where everything is going to be on the board. Salatriel, who can do that, but still shoot before most other people, is pretty nifty.
Move at 5, shoot at 10.
Move at 5, shoot at 10. Now, I will mention this because somebody brought it up on Facebook. Something clever you can do is, the way she works is you declare a ship type. She's like Ahab Picard. You declare a faction, and if there's a faction of that type, or if a ship of that faction in her forward firing arc, she fires at 10. Okay. What you can do to be clever is you can name one of your own ship's factions to control at what point you want to fire. Now, I would caveat that with, I'm not sure why you would ever want to fire at a lower point than 10. But if you do, for whatever reason, that is an option you have. I don't see her on a lot of builds. Part of that is because I think that raw captain skill is just not as good as it used to be.
Especially with a lot of the boosts.
Yeah, but with that said, 10 captain skill, man. Can't beat the cost.
Not too bad. Yeah. I just don't have anything to say about her, really. She seems pretty cool, but yeah, I was never too impressed with the 5 versus 10. I mean, it would have to be more extreme, like 0 versus 15 to get my interest peaked enough.
Well, she's not at my number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, she's, you know, but she's on the list.
We love a list. All right. So we are up to number 2, and we already did Tucker's. So let's go for David.
So Tucker stole a little bit of my thunder with this all 1-point captains honorable mention.
Because?
Because the feedback tactical drone actually differentiates itself for me, and that is my number 2 captain.
The counterattack guy one.
The counterattack tactical drone, and it's a little better than a counterattack die because it is an attack die that you roll. So it's actually 50-50 to do damage back to your opponent.
And it's not costing you one of your defense dice to do it.
Right. Now, I always run it with Magnus Hansen, so I get a 3rd use out of it.
Ooh.
But I mean, three shots?
Which you can't defend against.
Which you can't defend against? That's pretty darn good.
Or even better, combining it with the counterattack die.
Yeah. And I've done that too.
Or the elite attack die.
Wow, that'd be interesting. So if you spend a battle station on it, do you get an evade from that, or do you get a hit from that?
No, he doesn't work like a counterattack die.
You have to roll it separately.
Yeah, he rolls an attack die, so you just use the elite attack die instead. Suddenly, if you shoot me, you might be looking at 2 hits to the face.
Face hits.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he's pretty good. Now, I will say it. I have had games where I've rolled 3 blanks. And I have had games where I've rolled 3 crits. He's very streaky, and he's very hit and miss. But, you know, on average, you're getting 1 or 2 damage back. And for 1 point, that's not a bad thing. Even comboing him with Magnus Hansen, that's 2 points. I'm okay with that. As an opportunity cost, that's not a bad thing in my book. You know, a lot of times you find yourself at 88, 89 points. There's not a lot of upgrades, especially if you're in a Borg fleet, that were 1 or 2 points. And I'm talking about 3 months ago. 3, 4, 5 months ago. So now I know there's some cheaper stuff. But for the most part, he carries his weight. And that's what I like in an underdog captain.
He's a good guy. Yeah, I mean, that's even kind of the rationale of why cloaked mines are so good. It's the point investment to the amount of damage they can almost guarantee.
Yeah.
And 1 point
that's
for...
why I was advocating for 1-point captains in general earlier. You know, they're just a great return on investment.
We love investment. All right. Counter tactical drone. We have one number 2 left, and that is mine. This is the last person on my list, so I'm sure Tucker knows who this is.
No?
No? Well, so far I've got
Shane
Gelman,
Schultz?
Hudson, Keevan, and Magnus Hansen. The last person that could possibly be on my list, which Tucker definitely tells me every single time will not work, ever.
No! 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 No!
Cha-chang!
No!
Cha-chang! Cha-chang!
Stop trying to make Chang happen. It's not going to happen.
I will say that Chang took me to a victory in a side event back at North Carolina Regional on the target locking flagship, and having 3 copies of I Stab at Thee equipped, and all kinds of good other shenanigans.
No. I knew I should have.
What are we talking about here, Will?
We are talking about the original Chang that spends a target lock to disable the opposing captain.
Okay.
I knew I should have put together the Mean Girls clip for this. I knew it. I knew in my heart that this was coming.
Back when Wei Yun was a big thing, Chang was a good ability to beat the Wei Yun cube, and taking a cube of my own, I could just beat everything else because, well, we know Borg were overpowered back then, and still are, but hey. So Chang, even with 9 extra points, essentially wasted on I Stab at These, still murdered everything at a 16-player side event. Good old Chang. Hey, we now have things that do it better, like crew data from the Borg. But disabling your opponent's captain means that they have to spend their one anything action re-enabling their captain. This means they can't be using it to use any of their crew or tech upgrades. They can't be using it to re-enable something they may have disabled. They can't use it to use like their special ship ability if they have one of those that's using it. I don't know which ones of those count. It basically means, hey, you are stuck using your only basic extra action from Ducat or Picard, and that is the only action you get this turn. And when going up against a cube, I'm okay with that. And if for some reason they choose not to re-enable their captain, like a silly, silly person, although so much the better because now I shoot first. Chang, making your opponents make bad decisions. Tucker, have I traumatized you?
Tucker sounds like an angry Klingon.
I got my.
You're a decent Klingon.
That was my fun. Thank you for listening to my Chang rant. I guess we can go on to your guys' number 1s now. Come on, Tucker. Show up Chang.
Okay, so this is the one I'm going to get the most pushback on. Again, because this guy is decently common. Okay? Here's the thing. I sincerely believe that given Worf rulings, this guy should be in the vast majority of fleets. And that's Valdor 5.
Valdor, who gets an extra attack die when outside of a firing arc.
Or against Borg all the time.
Which is a difference now, yes.
Right. See, the Worf ruled that abilities like Valdor's always work against Borg. So, I mean, look, if there was a 3-point captain that said, you roll +1 attack die for +1 attack die for each attack you make against the Borg, would you run that captain? I would run that captain. And this guy works against non-Borg, too. Like, he's really good for 3 points. You know? Now, he's not...
I was going to say, I would say the only problem is you can't put him on a Borg ship.
Yeah, that's true. Like, that's why he's not in, like, my top 5 captains.
Oh, gotcha.
You know? Like, yeah, you can't put him on a Borg ship. Put him on
Voyager.
Yeah, exactly, put him on Voyager.
Anything with dorsal phaser array?
Which I totally thought was dorsal phaser bank, like, since it was released. That was a weird feeling.
Yeah, put him on an Enterprise E dorsal phaser array, take battle stations every turn, and roll 6 dice 360 at range 1 to 2.
I just put him on a Nebula and roll 5 for like 33 points.
Okay, you're right, that's better. Well, it's cheaper.
Well,
I don't know if it's better.
The Nebula is super maneuverable. Like, right before fighters came out, Nebula swarms were going to be a thing because they can. Nebulas are maneuverable.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have come-abouts.
What? Are you sure about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. Nobody ever looked at them because they were the Fed.
No,
ship
they
that
don't have come-about.
They have backups.
What?
They have They have a one backup, right?
What? Hold on. I swear to God, they have a. Am I crazy? I might be crazy.
Well, that's besides the point.
Where's my space dock? Friggin' Draco. You know, if you're on the Facebook group and you know who does the Draco builder, message me because I got to talk to him.
I believe it's Draco.
Huh?
I believe it's Draco.
Oh, hush.
My thing here says it has a one reverse and no come about.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Well, that's stupid.
Is it the only Fed ship that's good with a come about, and good is relative, is a Defiant?
Yeah, Defiant can't run thing.
Yeah, I don't think any ship that can run the dorsal has a come about.
Yeah, okay, I guess that's true. But it is the cheapest ship that can run the dorsal. A Nebula with the dorsal is 29 points for a 4-1-4-3.
So you could get 3 of them.
Yeah.
Scott seems to think Nebula class has the same as the Equinox. And the Equinox definitely has a come about. Bane of Borg. Valdor does not work on Borg ships because Valdor requires a forward firing arc of your own. For some...
Equinox does not have a come about.
Equinox has the same maneuver dial as the Nebula.
Yeah.
Equinox goes backwards?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 1 reverse.
Oh, yeah, it does. Well, never mind then.
It's Saber. It's the Saber that has the come about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Equinox and the Nebula have the same dial.
There we go. Yay, we cleared things up.
Okay. But yeah, if you put a like a flagship or something on the Jaeger, you could give it a 360, which would be okay, I guess. Anyway, now that I've thoroughly embarrassed myself, yeah, Valdor, awesome, and he should be played more than he already is, and I know he's played a lot. He should be played even more.
Play him more.
So what about David?
David, you are the last, the number one. You must cap off this list in great, amazing style, even more style than Chang.
Mirok!
That was not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
I was expecting him to be somewhere in some list.
I have a thing for repair, if you couldn't tell. I do like Valdor. Valdor, for me, is a little too much on the top captain list. That's the only reason he wasn't on my underdog list.
Mm-hmm.
So, rest assured, Tucker, I do know where you're coming from there.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I think Mirok's not seeing play because Romulans just aren't a thing, but
they're gonna be a thing now.
Or because things die too often in one round.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, Mirok could be a thing on board. That's the other thing. Is
Borg didn't usually have more than one ship for the most part because Mirok requires a friendly ship, and that was the only problem with it.
But now they do. You know, I take your point about Underdog taken because I literally never thought of that before now.
But you can run it next to your fighters, and your fighters can be your friendly ship.
Oh yeah, that would work nicely.
You know what you could do? Is you could go...
And your fighters are going to be around for a while.
Mm-hmm. Your fighters aren't going off the board in one turn. So Mirok will heal up. You could do Officer Exchange Program, Romulan Borg, Sphere, 20-point fighters, 20-point fighters, Reroll tactical drone on one sphere and Mirok on the other.
Yeah. Hey, Mirok on the cracks on to repair your shields was always a thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was my list. That was one of my winning lists back in Wave 0. Mirok and Kyle on the Kraxon was a lovely combination.
God,
Yeah.
that was an annoying thing to fight.
2 shields a turn. Ah, ah, ah.
And it can be a thing again because the Kraxon can soak damage from from one fighter squadron. It's not as good with the May ruling, but it's potential.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends
eventually
on
people
what you
got
actually want.
And eventually people got smart enough to be, oh, I take out the Kraxon first.
Yeah.
But if they're doing that when you have fighters in play, that's a rookie mistake.
Yeah, because there's no reason not to target the fighters, since they'll have lower agility, and he'll if he doesn't want to save them, well, good for you.
But you know what? Mirok is a 2-cost captain, 3 points cross faction. I'm okay with you taking out my Kraxon at.
It does give you nice choices, though.
Yeah, it's
Kraxon at 26, so 29 points. I'm okay with you killing 29 of my points so that a fighter squadron can live.
Just shows how much fighter squadrons are actually worth. Instead of their 20-point tag.
Worth 30, at least.
But, I mean, this is what Will and I were talking about for Kevon, is things that draw fire are good, and Mirok on a Kraxon is gonna draw some fire.
Yeah.
Anything that forces or encourages your opponent to not focus fire is what's going to do it.
Well, really what it is, even if they focus fire on the Kraxon, that's okay. Really what it is that this is a game primarily about options. David says it most of all, and he's absolutely right. And anything that gives you options is good, but also anything that denies options to your opponents is also very good. And things that draw fire are very, very good because they effectively deny your opponent options.
You are manipulating the battlefield.
Well, and it's not just things that forcibly draw fire, but things that make your opponent want to target you.
Give your opponent bad choices to make, and if they make them, woohoo!
Yeah.
Ah, the looks of confusion and helplessness. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
And the best part is, Mirok is such a damn underdog captain that, like, you know, the first thing that's going to happen when somebody picks up your build list or looks at your list on a table, they're like, why are you running Mirok?
No, first they're going to go, who? Then they're going to look at the captain card and go, oh.
No, that's Kevon. No one knows who Kevon is.
God, he is on my list, and I had to look him up 3 times.
Fair enough.
Brilliance.
But I think, honestly, David, I think you really nailed it. I think if I had to, Mirok is just about perfect for an underdog captain.
The underdogs. All right, guys. That has been our top 5 underdog captains list, even with a couple honorable mentions. And, of course, the other 15 guys that I was considering that didn't make it on the list.
Oh, God.
Tucker, what was yours, 12?
Well, I mean, they were all 1-point captains. That's what I was saying.
Ah, I gotcha. No, I had a lot of other ones. I don't know if Lore would have counted, or Viceroy, or Carr. Mirok was on that list. Sar. Ah, so many.
Yeah. I mean, I guess... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to ask, what top 5 are we doing next time?
Next time for our top 5, I was thinking crew upgrades.
I had elite talents, because that makes sense to do after captains.
Well, if you want to go in order of things. But then eventually we're going to have to get stuck with weapons. No one likes
I
weapons.
have an idea about that. I want to talk to you guys after the show.
Okay. So next week, talents then?
Okay.
Top 5 talents. How talented are you? We're going to have a talent show.
Ooh. It's like the episode title is writing itself.
I know, right? It's crazy. We might start having to cut these things down a little because we did only go through 15 cards in 53 minutes.
And one of them was on all 3, and one of them was on 2 lists.
Well, yeah, but it's also interesting and fun, and I don't mind us going a little long. I mean, on a Friday it sucks a little bit. I skipped out on, I'm going to be polite and say a date to be here, but it's not like we're doing anything better on Tuesday.
That's true. I mean, we all run very interesting and fascinating lives, and if you want to know more about us, go ahead and click like and subscribe. Join us on Twitter, iTunes, and every other social media we can think of. And yeah. Sorry, I just made up half of those things, but these things happen. So top 5, we have our talent show for next week. Last minute news for today. Next week we will, of course, be going over the remaining preview, which is going to be the Kazan Oglorazik. We will also be maybe getting to a Matter of Honor next week, maybe not. And we will have a talent show of our top 5 talents.
Can I actually make a suggestion that we may consider before we definitely make it talents?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Could we maybe do ships / underdog ships? Because that we didn't do that.
No, we did not.
I don't know why we didn't do that.
Well,
so
you're the one
maybe,
who said talents.
Well,
Fine,
yeah, but
talent show is postponed.
Yeah, talent show is postponed, and now we have a ship show.
Woo! Top 5 ships.
Okay, so top ships.
Yeah, top ships, and then we could do, like underdog ships.
Okay.
Cool. Sounds good to me. Let's see. Any other news? I just went through an OP3, and I'm still working on another OP2. I'm not even sure if we're going to even get to a Matter of Honor around here because attendance has been so low. So that is sadness for me. David, you had an OP3 recently?
I have an OP3 tomorrow.
Gotcha.
And I had an RAF1, which was really David wrote a custom mission and had fun TOing that. It actually worked well. I'll talk to you more after the show about it.
Cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Seiji Tataki. Oh, you're a cruel person. Going around making a fleet all about healing things and annoying everybody.
God.
If they can't kill you, then they don't deserve to win.
May you run into all of the cloaked mines always.
Good old cloaked mines. Crackstone is a good counter for cloaked mines on fighters, though. But besides that, Tucker, anything interesting for you this week, or you're still out of Star Trek Attack Wing range for your area, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm getting ready. I'm hoping that I'm not in the solo play beta, but I'm hoping it starts to pick up steam, and I'm really hoping that somebody will develop one of those online versions of things. That would be great. I would like that a lot.
Please do. Tucker will pay you in World of Warcraft cash. I don't know. STO Latinum.
I am not giving anyone Zen. Are you kidding? I'm so broke in this game.
Excellent. All right, so I guess that's going to do it for this week, because we have plenty of stuff to go over for next week, and we can use it then. We are only a little bit over, and by a little bit, I mean a half hour, but hey, we had fun. Did you guys have fun? I hope you guys had fun, too.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank I forget who it is. I'll go look it up. But for the love of God, whoever suggested top 5, thank you so much. These are just ridiculously fun segments to do.
Excellent.
Yeah. Well, they make us interact. They make us think, and
they make us yell at each other because why the heck would you put that guy on your list? What is wrong with you?
Well, yeah, and they give you guys more opinion or more info about who we are as players.
Right. It also gives David more time to talk.
It really does. Well, and it's, I'm one of those guys that doesn't have tons to say, but when I do, it's typically worth listening to.
This is
I try not to say stuff unless I have something to say.
Ah, so you're the opposite of me.
All right, guys, that is going to do it for today. We're going to wrap this up here. Thank you, everyone, once again for joining us on State of the Federation. Hope you'll join us next week. We will be doing it on Tuesday on our regular day, so hope to see you guys then. In the meantime, I hope you get some more chances to play Star Trek Attack Wing. Enjoy, and may Q be generous with your dice. Thanks for joining us, guys.
State of the Federation is a production of Will S. in association with Tucker C. and David M. We are not associated or affiliated with WizKids Games, and except where specified, WizKids did not endorse or approve any of our podcasts. All copyrights are copyright of their respective rights holders.